Tiger fans, get ready for episode 271 of the official Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast, bringing you all the latest news, updates, and buzz surrounding your mighty JSU Tigers. I am the Corey C. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast to be notified of all future episodes. Apple Podcast and Spotify video users, rate and review the show. And everyone, go follow Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club on Facebook and Tiger Talk 1400 on Instagram and Twitter. It all helps the cause, which is the I love Jackson State University. And we are back in the booth. Mike B, Zoe, what's good, fellas?
What's up, Corey? What's up, Mike B? What's up, the I love family?
Yes, sir. 4-0. Shook them devils off. All right, we knew that would happen. Right, that was never in question. Right, that's what we do. Yeah. They usually play us a lot tougher than they played us this season, though. So it was good to blow those guys out of there. What were your some quick thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I think they played us pretty tough, especially initially. They came out, all guns a blazing, and they came out, got the quick score, and that's kind of the ebb and flow with JSU versus Valley. The first quarter, the first part of the game, they come out and it looks like it's going to be a competitive game, and then we just
it didn't look like it was somehow run away with it. Game, Mike. It didn't look like it was going to be a competitive game.
It did. So when they
no
on their first touchdown, you wasn't
okay. Did you blink when they scored? Oh, this is a new JSU. Years ago, what would we have said? Oh, here we go again.
Yeah. Well, right? Here's my thing. Here's my thing. And I expected us to win. I expected us. You can go back and look at my digital footprint or whatever. I thought we scored in the 70s. And I thought Valley would score 0. I thought they would score none. So the fact that they scored, one touchdown, they did better than FAM. They did better than FAMU.
They did.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Right.
Yeah. I mean, they led at one point in the ball game.
Well, that's a fact. So I guess I can't argue with it. That is literally a fact. But like I said, man, years ago we would have been like, oh man, here we go. But this game, even the previous week against Grambling, when they scored a couple times, it tied the game up. I never even blinked. I mean, I yawned. I yawned, and I told somebody with the Valley game, that'll be their only score. Just wait, we'll watch and see what the final score is. So it's a new day for Jackson State football, though.
Yeah, Corey, I definitely agree. And to echo Coach Prime, I mean, the mere fact that we won this game in the fashion that we did, 49-7, and we're literally upset knowing, man, we really left about 25 to 30 points, on the field. We left it. And we're not satisfied with a 49-7 win. Just imagine that. We're not satisfied. No Jacksonian is satisfied with our performance. We know we could have did better. So it's a new day. It's a new day on the street.
It wasn't that fulfilling. It wasn't that fulfilling. I mean.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. People are satisfied with the win, but it's not up to the fans' expectations. They expected it a lot more. There were some things where some phases of the game that I didn't like. We'll get into that later. But overall, it was a great win, great team win. We got out of there without any significant injuries. So that's pretty much all you can ask for when we play Valley. It's just one of those games where it's like a family reunion. The game is there, and there's really no constant threat of, oh, we might lose this game. You just show up, you hang out with your friends from Valley, and just enjoy halftime show, enjoy the game, and leave and go on about your business.
Right. Now, it was a dominant, non-dominant performance, right? Can both things be true? Yeah. Though we always say two things can be true at the same time. Well, that's the ultimate test of that statement, because, again, we say we didn't dominate, but then you look at the numbers, 638 yards of total offense. We'll talk about Shador, but I mean, a career passing day, 40 out of 51, 438, all career highs, 4 touchdowns. He threw a late interception. I mean, he spread the ball around, 12 different receivers. And then a lot of people said after the game, man, what do we have to do to get off to a better start? We started off slow, right? But if you think about it, this team was a fumble. I mean, Savion Wilkerson literally fumbled the ball into the end zone. I mean, with the half-yard line. So if you take away that fumble, that's a 28-point half, which puts you on pace for 56 points. So a 28-point half, and people are looking at it like, man, we just starting slow. That just tells you the expectation and the firepower of this team. Because did we average 28 points a game last season?
Last season,
yeah, we did. It was
I think so. Yeah, I think that
right at 28 points per game.
That Alabama game kind of put us over the top there.
Yeah.
So roughly 20. So we'll say roughly 28 points, and that team went undefeated in the conference, won the SWAC. So now we're talking about a team that literally put that up in the half, but teams are saying, or fans are saying, "Hey, we're starting slow. We're starting slow." Think about it.
Yeah. Well, Coach Prime, he set the standard for us. He said he wanted to dominate all phases of the game from kickoff to the clock hit all zeros. So he set that precedent. So we're going to follow right behind him.
Yeah, we're definitely carried on the personality of the head coach, and
that's true.
Again, to echo what you stated, Corey, when you factor in all the stats, like if you just pick up the stat sheet and just go down it, you would think it's a dominant performance. I mean, we got over 200 yards rushing. Well, we got 200 yards rushing. Shadul did his usual. We spread the ball around. We only gave up 7 points. The defense played well. We were good on third downs. All the things you would really ask your team to do for a win, we did that. But even knowing that, we had so many miscues and so many things that we need to work on that were so glaring. And it's like we're happy with the win, but we're not satisfied because, again, I think if we put our best foot forward, we easily win this game. Seriously, man, probably like about 84-0. Money game.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Absolutely.
And what's so ironic about that was that we did easily win the game.
We
but
did.
As Zoe said, we could have easily scored 70, 80 points. So,
are we being too greedy?
I mean,
no,
I don't know, man.
No.
This is tough, man. We deserve. Well, we
deserve
it.
We
deserve it.
We suffered through some tough seasons.
Yes.
We've suffered through some quarterback carousels, some coaching carousels. I think we deserve it. So I wouldn't say we're being greedy. I say this is what we worked for, and this is what we knew Jackson State could be at its fullest potential. We knew that all it took was the right coach, and with the right mindset, the right intellect, that can rally everybody around him. We didn't think it'd be somebody to the magnitude of Coach Prime, but we knew that when we got the right coach, and the rest of the SWAC knew it too. They knew when we got the right coach. Get your jokes in now because pretty soon it's not going to be funny. And right now it's only funny to us.
It's funny. Is it? At what point does it become boring?
Not to me.
At what point does it become boring?
Maybe if we do it 6-7 years in a row, maybe at that point. But right now it's
never become boring. You never become boring though.
No.
It's been a long time coming. I'm with you, but
I love it.
Dallas Daniels, man, emerging. I mean, we say emerge. I don't know if we say. I think what did Coach Prime say? He's not emerging. He's always been that. Did Coach Prime say something like that?
He's a pro.
Man, this guy.
10
catches, 142. The most impressive thing. I mean, he jumps out. If you're watching on the TV, he jumps off the screen. If you're watching in person, I mean, he stands out like amongst a group of elite wide receivers. Like you look at him and say, okay, who is that? What's that? Like if you didn't know any names or any stars, you would point that guy out. What's most impressive to me is just the yak, man, the rack. Has he ever caught a ball and went right down? Like he's always going to get you the extra yards, man, and he's so elusive.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would say the thing that stands out to me though is his route running, man. The guy's just always open. He's always open.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the route running, the ability to get the separation, and once he gets the ball in his hand, he's going upfield. Yeah, Zoe and Ken, y'all said it numerous times. No wasted steps. He gets the ball, he gets upfield, he gets going with it. So,
and just imagine, you have the greatest cornerback to ever play football, literally is at a press conference professing to the world that this kid's a pro. He said, "I've seen it. I know what it looks like. I see what this guy does in practice. He'll route you up. He'll do this. He'll do that. He'll do that. And I'm telling you, this guy is a pro." And then this is after a 10 catch performance for with 140 some yards or a touchdown. Like it's just, and it's consistent now. He's not getting 10 catches, but he's having a high number of catches, yielding good yards and a touchdown.
4 games in, let's bring up a subject that was always one of the first subjects, the first things that we would talk about for every recap show last season. But I don't think we've mentioned this since maybe the FAMU game, maybe a little bit after the Tennessee State game. But let's just talk about the offensive line. We're about a third of the way through the season, and for us to not even bring up the offensive line, in a show after what we went through last season, how refreshing is that, and what kind of grade or what's your assessment of this offensive line?
I've always felt like the greatest compliment for an offensive lineman is to not mention them at all. You just when you're not noticing them, when they're not getting false starts and holding penalties, and they're not getting blown up by defensive linemen, that's the highest honor for an offensive lineman. That's when they're at their pinnacle, and this team is at their pinnacle right now. Offensive line is doing a good job opening lanes and keeping the pocket clean for Shedeur. Just a great job. Coach Prime said that's the one thing he was going to work on during the offseason, and man, did he do it.
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me about this O-line is that there's continuity and they're getting better game by game. If you go back and watch that FAMU game, they had a good game that game, but they're gelling, And like I said earlier, I think once we get to, the middle of October, I think they'll be hitting their stride, because they'll have some games under their belt, but they're getting better. Even the one sack that they got, pretty much with a byproduct of, Shedeur really looking downfield and holding the ball too long. And he could have thrown the ball away. But outside of that, man, that's the only sack that they gave. That's the only sack they gave up. Yeah,
you make a good point there, though. You can really see them gel. You can see the cohesion there. I noticed them communicating more. You can see the way they pass off defenders. It's like they're starting to come together, and they're going to hit their stride now. So the sky's the limit for this offense.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they stay healthy, we are great.
I agree.
And looking over at the defense, man, John Huggins, I was so happy to see him get one, man. It took me back to James Houston last year getting one, a couple actually, right? And then Aubrey earlier this season, and then to see Huggins get one, man, I was so happy for that guy. I call him Pick Six, man. Number 6. We got to call him Pick Six. We got to call him Pick Six.
Yeah. It's official now.
Yeah, man. And I mean, and he picked them clean. I mean, if you go back and watch the play, it basically looked like he really watched film on Valley because he picked the play. He diagnosed it, better than a receiver did. And it was wide open. And he jumped it, and it was just, again, a pick six. And it goes back to what we all said before the season, fellas. The one thing, as good as the defense was last year, we did not generate a lot of turnovers.
Not.
And so far, we're knocking it out the park this year, especially when you're talking about interception returns. We have multiple pick sixes on the season already in 4 games. We have fumble for touchdowns. We forced a lot of fumbles, and we've got quite a few interceptions. So we're definitely turning the ball over. We're sitting real good in the plus minus. So, and again, go back to what you asked and what you stated earlier, Corey. Hey, can this defense be better than what it was last year? And fellas, after 4 games, statistically, we're a better defense. It's right there in black and white.
Yeah. And what's scary is that we're missing some of our best defensive pieces.
Yes.
Let's say some names because we were talking about it offline. Let's hear those names.
Man, True Thompson. Shiloh hasn't been there. The number 1 player in the country has not been on the field for Jackson State University, and we have the number 1 ranked defense in the country. That's ironic.
Antonio Doyle, who looked like a grown man in that first game.
Yeah. He started to work his way back in there. Yeah.
Frankie
Don't forget the new addition, King, who really just got in on a few snaps the last game.
I love that kid, man. He's so active, man. I love him, bro. I love him.
And you know what? He's playing like a kid that's excited to be at Jackson State, where it's just like, I'm just playing the game that I love to play. That's how he's playing. Mm-hmm. And you're adding that to this roster. But don't forget, too, fellas, Frankie Burgess is on his way back, too.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. Yeah. Heard good things about him in camp. So the best is yet to come, Tiger fans.
Greg Great, he's been out.
Yes. Right? I forgot about Greg Great. Joker, yes.
Mm-hmm. This team, man, a couple games, and Zoe probably can tell tell us exactly, but this defense has outscored the opponent in at least 2 games. The defense.
Yeah.
Well, Valley was 7-7-7, I guess. The one we had one defensive touchdown, right? FAMU had 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
We had 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 special teams touchdown.
Right. So that's strong, man. When your defense, we have probably one of the best offenses in FCS football. But I mean, literally, we can not score a point on offense and win some of these games. Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, our defense averaging a touchdown a game.
Yes, they are. But also remember, too, guys, we're outscoring our opponents. I think like 196 to like 30 in the third quarter alone. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Video game.
Halftime speech is doing the trick.
So 4 games in, good time for a bye week, especially to get some guys healed up and rested. I think we'll come back after this bye week and be even healthier and stronger than ever. Like you said, the best is yet to come. This team hasn't scratched the surface, which is scary. So what are some things you think that we should look to improve upon and work on during this bye week so that when we come back out, we can be even stronger?
Well, we got quite a bit, to be honest with you, man. One thing that stood out to me, I'm quite sure might be a touch on it, man. We got to get our penalties down in the worst way. You mentioned the fumble with Savion, but also remember we had a long bomb from Shedeur to Willie Gaines that was called back on a holding penalty. And I think at this juncture right now, I think we average about 4 or 5 holding penalties a game right now. So we definitely get the penalties down. We need to work on other things we need to work on is Shedeur on his downfield accuracy because so far this season he has roughly about 5 or 6 passes with a wide open receiver that he's overthrown. That we need to work on that, but cut the penalties down. Also, man, we're good at getting off the field on third down, but we got to get better in the first half, as we all know. Getting the opponent off. I don't know if there's a thing where we're trying to get a feel for the team or what, but it's almost like last season where we're just, no matter what, we're going to start out slow. And also, have you guys noticed?
He said it again, started out slow.
But yes. And have you guys noticed that we've won every coin toss in 4 games?
Nah, I haven't noticed that.
Yes, every coin toss we've won and deferred to the second half. We have not lost a coin toss yet.
Interesting. Interesting.
So,
yeah, definitely the slow starts, man. We gotta, work on that. You don't want to get to a point where a team start to scout you more of the games. You anticipate them becoming a bit more competitive, and so you really can't have a slow start. You gotta get out there and establish yourself, at kickoff.
So, not to harp on this, but we keep saying slow start. Like, was that a slow start against Valley? We scored on our first possession.
I think at that point, the slow
went right down the field and scored. So what was slow about the start?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. To the edge of the thing of slow start, because yes, Corey, you're right. When we took our first possession and scored,
with
but
ease.
The thing was, but there was a lull the moment we got that score, because it was a lull literally for a quarter and half that quarter and all the second quarter. It was a lull and we did nothing with it. It was almost like, I'm going to tell you what it is. It really feels like because Valley scored first, we felt like we had to match their score. The moment we scored that touchdown, it was a lull.
We scored 21 points. Should have been 28. I mean, I know the expectations are high, but to say
we
it was
improved versus Valley.
And I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I'm playing devil's advocate. Like, teams would kill to score 21 points and a half. Yeah. But we're saying it was a slow start. Like, so what would have made it a fast start? Like, tell me, let's go through this game and say, okay, well, this would have made it a quote unquote fast start.
I tell you what, not have the main thing that neither me or Mike be mentioned, the turnovers. Because now watch this. Savion goes in, it doesn't get that turnover. We get a touchdown. See, that changes the perception of that whole first half.
That's what I said earlier. That's literally a half a yard difference. So,
watch this. That fumble, plus again what we mentioned, penalties, because now it changes the complexion of the game, because now you got a long passing touchdown that, number one, gives Shedeur over 500 yards passing on this game. Also, he has 5 passing touchdowns, and that's another touchdown. Because that's 14 points that we would have gotten in the first half. So now instead of being 21-7 at the half, you're talking about 35-7 at the half.
So compare going to the bye week this week to last year, right? Or compare to going to the bye week this year to last year. When we talk about the slow starts, we didn't know if it was something that we could change or fix throughout the season, especially when you factored in the offensive line and the lack of run game. Because as I've stated on previous episodes, that's a personnel issue. You can't address that until December, right? So when you look at it this season, how much more are confident or optimistic are you about us being able to fix it? Since you just went over it, it's not a personnel issue. Everything you named was things that we can correct.
I'm confident that we can fix it. I'm confident. Yeah, like I said, 2 things that travel. Defense and a running game. And, we've gotten better at the running game. We've gotten better at being more physical from the offensive line perspective. So we have the pieces there. As Zoe said, it's just a matter of them gelling and getting together and getting that cohesiveness. And eventually you will see it. So I'm a lot more confident this year. Last year was kind of more of a, this is what we are. So how can we work around it? What can we, implement to offset the lack of a running game? This year we don't have that problem. The running game is there. It's more of an execution thing.
And let me just add too, because I don't want to play devil's advocate, but the other thing that travels, unfortunately for us, and the book is out, we turn the ball over, and that's contagious. We turn the ball over quite a bit. We've gotten very lackadaisical putting the ball on the ground, from Shador to the running backs to the receivers. And we've had multiple in the first half, multiple games with fumbles. Matter of fact, I believe we had 3 fumbles in that game. I think we had 3 fumbles in the game against Valley, but we lost 1. And plus, Shador had his interception late in the game. And so we really got to work on that because that's contagious. And that's another thing that travels. Good defense, good running game, but guess what? What's one thing that could kill you? Turn the ball over on the road, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. And for a team like us, we know that we have confidence that we can overcome ourselves, specifically what we do in the second half, and we get that behind. And we can always throw ourselves back in the game, and we know this. But the thing is, it's almost like we want to go from the opening tap, dominating, so we never want to put ourselves in that position, because if we're not in that position, you're going to get a lot more FAMU scores, more so than we would have gotten. I hate to even say any of them, because all our games been blowout, really. But you'll get more of what we got for FAMU if we're really on, handling our business like we're supposed to.
So, relative to your expectations going to the bye week, where are we now compared to where you would hoped we would have been? We above, ahead of the curve, ahead of schedule, not on pace?
That's a tricky question. We are ahead. I mean, it's sacrilegious to say we're not. Mm-hmm. I mean, the numbers point to it. I mean, we're averaging 47.5 points and we're giving up 9. We're far better than what we were at this point last year, So it's sacrilegious to say we aren't. But again, I guess the one thing we can rest on is that we're focusing on the eye test, because we see the games. We see what the numbers say, and our play matches that. But we also see what we can be better, because we know that if we're at our best, nobody belongs on the field with us, and we just want to see more of that, I guess I would say.
Yeah. I'll say at this point, my expectations are met so far in terms of my expectations of this team going into the season. Right now, I can't say that I'm lacking anywhere, but as Zoe said, there's always room for improvement. There are places where we can be better. We can cut down on the turnovers. A lot of that is our receivers and our ball carriers being very physical and trying to push for the extra yard. But you got to have the you got to tuck the ball first. You protect the ball first. So we just got to get back to the basics on that. So again, these are things that can be fixed. These are things that are coachable. So I feel very content about the team moving forward. But at this point, my expectations are met. So I've already booked the room in Atlanta.
I'm staying at Zoe's crib. I don't have to book a room. He got me.
Come on.
Good stuff, man. But fellas, I mean that's it, man. the game spoke for itself. Not really much to speak about after this one. It's what we expected. We did what we knew we were going to do. So let's just take this bye week. Let's rest up. Let's get ready for Alabama State. And man, Coach Prime, you guys remember the last time we went to Alabama? It wasn't Alabama State, but when we went in, when Coach Prime seemed like he had a chip on his shoulder for whatever reason, it seems like the same thing with them with this Alabama State this time, scheduling us for homecoming. So what do y'all think Coach Prime has in store this time?
Well, look, I want to echo my coach. I'm taking on his personality. You can quote me too. I love it. I love the fact that they scheduled us for homecoming. I echo my coach, and we're gonna have some things coming for him for putting us. I guarantee you, or better, what he said last year in Northern Alabama. What fool decided to schedule JSU for homecoming? Yeah,
I don't understand why Alabama State's administration would do that to the alumni and to the student body. Why would they, punish them like that? It's going to be a real sad homecoming.
Isn't it that
what?
Go ahead.
No, I talked to my buddies last year, Alabama A&M. When he went to the game, he was just like, after the game, wasn't no after parties or nothing like that. You just go back to the hotel room.
That's terrible.
Got ready to get back on the road.
Well, the saying, we turn homecoming to a homecoming. Why would you ruin the overall homecoming experience like that for your fan base?
Well, isn't it that they select the homecoming date without knowing who's on schedule that week? I think they pick a date for homecoming before the schedule comes out.
Well, that's not smart.
I agree.
Smart, fast, tough, and disciplined. They don't check the smart box off.
Yeah. Oh, but before we get off, man, one thing I gotta give Valley some props on. They had 181 yards rushing. That's very impressive against our defensive front, against our front seven. Really good. And that INT by that DB that Shadour's first interception. Did you see that catch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, I was standing literally right in front of it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but not to take anything away from him, but most of that came on one big play. The rushing yards. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it is
just
what
like
it is.
Grambling, yeah.
And we talked about it. Most of the scores against Jackson State have come because of a big play, but busted play or just a big play. But we haven't really seen a team move the ball down the field. I'm talking about a sustained drive for the 65 plus yards that it's going to take to beat the team. So for a team to consistently score on us, no team has shown that they can do that. You can get a big play here and there and get your fans excited, and that's why I don't blink when it happens, because I say, oh, big play. Yeah, he busts through the middle, but that's not going to continue to happen. They can't move the ball up and down the field on us. So.
Yeah, true, but Valley should have scored nothing. Valley shouldn't have scored anything.
I agree.
But it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. We got to do it.
4-0, fellas. Stop complaining. Be happy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you fellas next time.
All right,
man. D I love. Go Tigers.
D I love. Yep.
And that'll do it for episode 271 of Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. Thank you to all of our listeners. And again, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Apple Podcasts and Spotify video users, rate and review the show. And everyone, go follow Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club on Facebook and Tiger Talk 1400 on Instagram and Twitter. We're looking to do some big things with this platform to aid the athletics department, and it all starts with you. Downloading, subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show. And tell every Tiger that you know. We're on all podcast outlets. Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify Video, YouTube, and so on. And we'll be posting each episode on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. As always, thanks for your support. Go Tigers. Hashtag I believe. Hashtag the I love.